I'm lucky that I get to work in this industry, and particularly incredibly fortunate that I get to work in it this long, but I really want to work with people that are either immensely talented.
About a month ago, this really hit home with me too. About a month ago, I was sitting in traffic and I was just like jamming These Dreams by heart. Oh. I was killing it in the car.
Yeah. My relationship with my father, which was very complicated and difficult. My dad was a very I come from a middle class, kind of blue collar home, and my dad was.
This is insane. What went down on live TV had everyone on the edge of their seats and the internet completely on fire because Bill Maher, never one to hold back, took an absolute swing at Reynolds, and let's just say it was savage. With sources close to the situation claiming Maher wasted no time tearing into Reynolds over Blake Lively's supposed statements in court against Justin Baldoni. And the way he did it was completely merciless. As witnesses say, Maher came in hot, armed with facts, dripping sarcasm, and wearing that signature smirk while laying into Reynolds over what many people are now questioning as highly questionable claims coming from Lively, making it crystal clear that something about the entire situation just didn't sit right, leaving audiences wondering what was really going on behind the scenes. And Reynolds, well, he clearly wasn't ready for that kind of heat, with some saying he tried to brush it off with a laugh, while others swear he looked visibly shaken. And one source even claimed he looked like he wanted to vanish from the stage altogether. But here's where it gets real, because Maher wasn't just cracking jokes for fun. He was seriously calling out what many are labeling a massive inconsistency in Lively's statements about Baldoni, and now people are buzzing. Legal experts are starting to question whether key details in her testimony actually line up with the facts, with a few even suggesting this entire move may have been strategic rather than sincere, dividing fans straight down the middle, as some argue Maher was right to call it out publicly, while others insist he crossed a major line. Yet either way, there's no denying this drama just escalated like never before. And just when everyone thought it couldn't get any crazier, Maher went all in, because he didn't merely suggest there were holes in Lively's story, he reportedly laid it out step by step, with insiders claiming he pulled up old interviews, pointed out contradictions, and even cited legal experts who have been quietly picking this case apart, sending a loud and clear message that something simply does not add up here. Now things are really heating up, as people close to Justin Baldoni are hinting that his silence has been very deliberate, with some believing he's sitting on a gold mine of evidence, texts, emails, and maybe even something bigger that could completely turn this entire situation upside down. And if that turns out to be true, everyone is being told to buckle up, because this courtroom drama is about to get wild. Meanwhile, Reynolds is stuck between a rock and a hard place, forced to decide whether he stands firmly by Lively and risks making everything worse, or keeps quiet and lets the storm rage on, knowing that either way, every move he makes is now under a microscope, and while he's no rookie when it comes to handling the media, the real question remains whether he can actually pull this one off. As for Maher, he's reportedly relishing every second of it, fully aware of what he's doing, stirring up controversy, keeping the spotlight fixed on the inconsistencies, and ensuring the conversation doesn't die down anytime soon, because let's face it, when it comes to calling out Hollywood drama, Maher has turned it into an art form. Then the suspicions really started to bubble up, with critics asking whether this lawsuit was actually a genuine quest for justice or just a brilliantly executed PR stunt, as media heavyweights, including Megyn Kelly, began raising serious alarms, warning that if these claims turned out to be exaggerated or worse, completely false, it wouldn't just destroy Blake's image, but could also damage the credibility of anyone who comes forward with real accusations in the future. For many critics, the true turning point came when more and more inconsistencies surfaced, because every new piece of footage seemed to contradict Blake's version of events, showing her calm, comfortable, and even eager in her interactions with Justin, and what was once framed as proof of intimidation now appeared to some as evidence of a celebrity desperate to dominate headlines and stay relevant in the tabloids. The question only grew louder with time. Was Blake using these serious accusations to catapult herself to even greater fame, while Justin scrambled to defend himself with what supporters claim is actual proof, and as fresh rumors began flying about Blake's alleged attempts to control the final cut of the film? Insider reports suggested she was unhappy with Justin's creative decisions and tried to take the reins of the project herself, something considered practically unheard of unless you have serious Hollywood clout, which Blake clearly does, leaving everyone asking why she would take such a risky and controversial move.
I would say that they're more surprises because they have beginnings, middles, and ends. They're not like, it's not just like a, hey, there's the person and we move on. It's they're there for a reason. And I'm really excited. But as I've gotten a little bit older, I sort of want to really, I'm lucky that I get to work in this industry, and particularly incredibly fortunate that I get to work in it this long. But I really want.
Observers quickly began to theorize that if Blake could successfully paint Justin as difficult or incompetent, it would suddenly become much easier to justify taking control of the project, because the public narrative would shift to people saying, well, of course, she had to step in. She was only protecting her vision from someone who mistreated her, and critics argue that this approach feels like a smart, calculated move designed to tug directly at the public's emotions and secure the sympathy vote. Behind closed doors, Blake was reportedly leaning heavily on her powerful inner circle for backup, and rumors started flying that her husband Ryan Reynolds was secretly making changes to scenes without the director's knowledge, while some even hinted that her close friend Taylor Swift might step in and unleash a massive social media storm if things got too messy. With such A-list stars on her side, Blake appeared ready not only to take charge of the film's production, but also to completely control the media narrative surrounding it. And if it weren't for the mounting pile of evidence contradicting her story, her plan might have actually worked. But with every leak of new texts, messages, and behind-the-scenes footage, her carefully crafted victim narrative began to fall apart, and rather than being viewed as a courageous woman exposing a toxic colleague, Blake was increasingly coming across as a star determined to outshine her director at any cost. As Justin Baldoni continued to release what supporters called bombshell evidence that directly challenged Blake's claims, whispers began circulating that her legal team was pushing aggressively for a gag order, a move that would prevent Justin and his team from revealing any more texts, videos, or documents that contradicted her version of events. From the outside, this appeared to many as a last-ditch effort to regain control of a spiraling narrative that was rapidly slipping from her grasp. If Blake's original strategy was to make her accusations public and let the media tear Justin's reputation apart, silencing him would give her a clear upper hand, but Justin was reportedly unwilling to stay quiet, especially when both his career and personal integrity were on the line. According to several sources, he believed Blake had already tried the case in the court of public opinion, and the only way left for him to defend himself was to expose what he claimed was the truth. This raised an even bigger question about the real motive behind the push for a gag order. Was it genuinely meant to protect sensitive details, or was it simply an attempt to keep inconvenient facts buried? While no one from Blake's camp openly admitted to the latter, critics were quick to point out that the move looked calculated, aimed at maintaining control of a narrative that was beginning to crumble under the weight of false or exaggerated accusations. And those kinds of accusations, critics warned, can have disastrous consequences that extend far beyond a single celebrity feud. When public figures stretch the truth or fabricate wrongdoing, they risk eroding trust for those who genuinely need help and deserve to be heard. It is already incredibly difficult for real survivors to speak out, but when a high-profile star potentially uses serious allegations to gain attention or leverage, it makes people second-guess future claims no matter how real or urgent they may be. Megyn Kelly summed up this concern by arguing that if Blake's lawsuit ultimately falls apart, the next person with a legitimate complaint could be met with unwarranted doubt, and genuine pain might be dismissed as just another desperate plea for fame or sympathy. Critics argue that this, more than anything else, is the real tragedy of the entire situation. When tabloids become obsessed with a celebrity's over-the-top lawsuit, the true stories of abuse can be completely overshadowed, as the media circus fills the space with leaked texts, questionable motives, and non-stop speculation, drowning out the voices of real survivors who do not have the platform or fame that Blake commands. The true cost of one star's quest for attention, critics say, can be seen in every ignored or disbelieved voice that never receives the recognition or justice it deserves. For a time, it looked like Blake was on her way to being celebrated as a brave actress standing up against injustice, but once Justin began releasing receipts that painted a very different picture, the narrative shifted rapidly. Fans who once stood firmly by her side started questioning her true motives, digging through old interviews and noticing how often she subtly redirected attention back to herself while undermining interviewers' questions. Social media exploded with debates, with some speculating that Blake had hidden reasons for making her accusations at such a conveniently timed moment, while others who had initially supported her felt betrayed, believing they had been misled by an actress more interested in attention than the truth. The conversation quickly evolved from defending Blake to asking what she was really after, while Justin, once painted as the villain, began gaining sympathy from those who believed he was the true victim of a powerful star using her influence to spin the narrative. Memes began circulating that mocked the lawsuit as a poorly executed stunt for attention, and people started questioning the entire idea of celebrity activism, wondering if personal gain was the true motive all along. But the biggest question still looms. If a celebrity can manipulate the truth to steal the spotlight, what does that mean for real conversations about harassment and misconduct in an industry already exhausted by endless Hollywood scandals?
Communicated.
Okay, gotcha.
I think people tell themselves stories, and this sort of comes back to your worldview that you just mentioned about.
Really high praise as well. It was just one of those things that felt like a live action Pixar movie. It was something that, I wanted to do something where nobody was being stabbed in the face.
Hollywood has always been a hotbed for drama, with stars clashing over fame, money, or creative control, but the stakes have never been higher. Today, the public is more tuned into stories of mistreatment, and when those stories are twisted for personal gain, it undermines all the progress made in addressing toxic behavior in the industry. Enter Blake Lively, the A-list star with a seemingly perfect image and a web of powerful connections, capable of shaping the narrative to fit her own agenda. If her accusations are indeed a carefully calculated power move, it exposes a troubling trend in Hollywood, using scandals, no matter how serious, as stepping stones to climb higher. Chasing the spotlight and maintaining a polished public image is one thing, but weaponizing damaging allegations just to grab attention crosses a dangerous line. It's crucial to note that not every accusation from a celebrity is self-serving. Many are entirely legitimate and highlight real issues, but when high-profile feuds start to appear as media stunts, trust begins to erode. Real victims, those without fame or social media influence, often get overlooked while sensationalized drama dominates the conversation. Whether Blake Lively's claims are entirely fabricated or merely exaggerated, one thing is undeniable. Her lawsuit seems to be doing more to boost her own profile than to illuminate any actual injustice. If the outcome ends up a trail of contradictions and questionable motives, the ultimate casualty is the public's trust in those who genuinely deserve to be heard. When a celebrity crafts a headline-grabbing drama, the impact extends beyond one individual. It undermines the credibility of anyone who might speak out afterward. Could this become Blake's legacy, eroding public trust in real claims simply to remain at the center of attention? Only time, and the truth, will reveal whether this is a calculated power play or simply an actress misunderstood, standing up for what she believes is right. The lessons here go far beyond Blake and Justin's personal drama. They serve as a stark reminder of how star power can be wielded for better or worse. When fame becomes a weapon to twist the truth and chase personal glory, the consequences last far longer than any fleeting buzz. As this saga continues to unfold, there's always more waiting to be revealed. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss a single shocking update. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're first to know when the next jaw-dropping revelations come to light.